Boom, baby, we're alive. What up? What up? What up? It's me, MLD. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode number 900. Congratulations to myself for doing 900 episodes. I don't really care. It's just another day. We got to get to the work because we're going to talk about the rise of feminized men, how it's breaking society, and how this is ruining your dating life today. Because we have kind of reached a critical mass where the majority of men in the West have given up on dating. The majority of guys have just completely just thrown in the towel, given up. They have like it's really interesting to see, because I personally don't have a problem, because once you learn the magical skill of game, you really have so much mental clarity that allows you to do whatever you want in life, versus being like the rest of the guys who are hopelessly and pathetically slaves to their desires of satiating their needs for female attention. I've seen it time and time again where guys get one little drop of female attention and they drop everything. It's something else to see. But we're going to be talking about that in great depth today, and we're going to be reading an article. That's why I have my scholarly look today. How do you like my scholarly look? This is my scholarly robe with my scholarly glasses. And I just feel like this is extremely important to what I would be packaging in and understanding the total system here in regards to understanding female nature, understanding how to be really good with women, and seeing the total picture. Because once you see, it's like you see a whole new world. And if you want to see a whole new world, take a look at this. Because in 2 days, on Wednesday night at 8 p.m., I'm giving a free training here where we're going to be talking exactly about how to approach women anywhere from eye contact. You don't need to do anything special. You don't need to go to clubs. You don't need to have events. You don't need to do anything. You'll see a girl that you find attractive. You'll shoot your shot. You'll make it happen. And this right here is so valuable. This is going to be a limited one-time version of this. So if you want to learn exactly what you're doing wrong, where you freeze up with girls, and understand with just total clarity, that's what we're going to be showing you with this thing. Total clarity on what you need to do to finally put this part of your life to rest. Go find a good girl, settle down, build a life, and get on with your life instead of endlessly looking on YouTube for answers. Go to approachanywhere.com, put in your best information. We have 80 people who have registered for the event. It's going to be great. The last person to register was Julio today. And we are going to be extending some private invitations at the end of this to work with me directly that are in limited quantity. So before we get going, go ahead and sign up on that right now, and we'll start the show right after this.
Connection established.
Make money, make muscles, learn game, hold frame. It starts with learning dating, and then you move on to something else to push humanity forward. That is the philosophy of modern life dating.
I am teaching you how to be strong. I am teaching you how to be powerful. So when bad things happen to you, you don't quit. Okay,
if you
because you don't know
how.
Because you don't know.
No, if
'Cause
I'm
if
not
you-
going to
if you-
explain to
in
myself
normal,
who are-
listen, in normal conversation where people aren't sitting around and patronizing you because you're loud and obnoxious, and a lot of people don't want to confront you and tell you that. But I'll tell you that right now, young lady. You're very loud and obnoxious and you're rude.
You wanted to blow it up and make me seem like something I'm not, and I didn't appreciate that. But that's okay.
Did
You
you
can
watch my
do
channel?
what you want to do for your content.
Oh boy, somebody's triggered.
and
She's
you can do
triggered.
that. No, Adam
mad
set me up for it.
You should want a woman that you can build with.
She could build me a sandwich.
But my man,
It's common sense in every other country in the god world, but here you gotta get out of god Venn diagram and be like, hey, don't post half-naked photos of yourself because you're gonna attract fucking predators. And we're back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you everybody for being here today. Welcome to episode 900. Shout out to Marriage Causes Divorce with the 2 Great British Pounds super chat donation. Congratulations on episode 900. Great topic. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. You know, we are showing up every day, no matter what, thick or thin. And we're live on Rumble as well. And we're also live on YouTube. So, yeah, we had a lot to cover. This is something that is very interesting because I'm witnessing it happen in real life. And the number one thing that I just see guys doing is they're afraid to talk to women. This is the number one thing that men, at this point in history, men are terrified of women. Men are truly afraid of females. They're just afraid of everything, quite frankly. And this is because if you look at the data, you know, testosterone levels of men are dropping. Men are just, you know, not really the men that they used to be. The younger generation, especially, these guys are just so ultra feminized, you know, so worried about how they look, so worried about, you know, endless amounts of things, mate. Endless amounts of things. Worried about their, you know, what people think about them, you know, overly over the top. Like the most masculine thing you can do, you know what it is? It's to do whatever you want to do. That's the most masculine thing. And not care really too much about what people think about you, you know, because if you're going to be constantly worrying about people and what they think about you, you know what it is? They say, you know, you're going to live in the prison of other people's opinion is what I'm saying. You know, you don't want to do that. You really don't want to be doing that, because that's why I talk about frame, right? Because when your whole life, you're going to constantly be meeting people who are going to constantly be trying to pull you off your path, constantly trying to pull you to do something that they want you to do with your best interest is not at the front of their to-do list. And it's usually theirs, and people will try to use you. You'll try to use you for their own nefarious ways. Like, and it's so hard to judge a human especially if you have no training in it. But if you don't have the ability to say no, if you don't have the ability to do what you want to do, especially if you want to do the right thing, even though the whole world is doing the wrong thing, you know, that is like, that's the hallmark of a strong masculine man. And what's happening with society now is like they have weaponized groupthink to shame men into doing the bidding of what they want versus what the man actually wants. And you're seeing it across society, right? It's a really big problem. And if you look at what's happening right now, the more feminized society gets, the worse it's getting. Like society is you know, it's sorry, it just started raining heavily outside. Society's not getting better. It really is not. And the most feminized society in the world is the American society. And the people are suffering. The economic policy has shifted to pandering to women. A lot of social media has shifted to pandering to women. You know, and a lot of feminization has entered everything. Feminization has entered video games. Feminization has entered our military. Feminization has entered the workplace. And what this does is it just makes it crappier. It just makes it crappier. Bottom line. You know, it's not, there is a lot of wrong things that are happening because we are choosing to, you know, cater to women versus catering to excellence or catering to doing the right thing for the progression of humanity. One society that's not doing that right now, though, is China. China is making tremendous amount of progress. And if you want to go really down the rabbit hole, China is using TikTok to psychologically manipulate women into a very bad state of mind. I've never met a girl who's like super well adjusted and happy and like has good morals and stuff that was like addicted to TikTok, because the brain rot really does seep into your mind. And that TikTok algorithm is nefariously engineered to destroy American culture, quite frankly. Western culture in general, but definitely American culture. Because the Chinese have a thing they called, I think they call it like the 100 years of shame. And that's when, like, you know, we flooded China with opium. That's why China's flooding us with fentanyl. And they don't forget that. And they're trying to get their get back on us. That's why you see them negotiating hard with the tariffs. And that's why you see them acting independently. And it's all connected. The Chinese are incredibly intelligent people, and they know the fastest way to bring down America is to feminize the women and then and by and large feminize the male population, because that's exactly what's happening right now. So it's really, really interesting to take a look at this. I just wanted to do this and kind of like, this is more for the audience member who is more intellectually inclined to know about these things on a deeper level, because by studying these things, it's going to just make you a better, well-rounded man. And it'll also help you understand why you shouldn't be a feminine man, why feminization is bad for you as a man, why it is going to ruin you, and why it is the number one thing that women find repulsive. You know, if you look at both sides of the political spectrum, left or right, women want a masculine man. That's the number one thing that they want. Okay. And they do not want a feminized guy. They have all the feminized guys, and they're rejecting them. They're still going for the ultra masculine guys. T-Char in the chat says, MLD, I think I'm finally starting to understand frame. For a long time, I equated it to boundaries, but now I understand collective money muscles game, which you can break down more. Yeah, I'm going to be writing a book soon. I'm going to be writing a book soon to lay it all out, to iron it all out, and really just kind of, you know, put a final say on what I have here. I'm actually going to trademark that soon too, because you know, it's just time to really solidify my legacy. And, you know, I'm, like I said, there's ups and downs in life, but I will always be consistently showing up. I'll always be consistently doing the right thing here. And that's what you got to do to be successful. If you're governed by your feelings, if you're governed by, you know, just if you're controlled by your feelings, you know, you're going to be mega, mega, mega cooked. And that's not something you want at all. So be sure to pay attention here because we're going to jump right into it. So I want to cover this article here. It's by Helen Andrews. Oh, but first we have to do my favorite part of the show. The most favorite part of my show ever. All right. And that is the one, the only, the best ever. Are you ready? Comment review. This is the last episode we did. We talked about the whole Ms. Kiff, the streamer, and Emiru situation, which is blowing up right now. The bottom line is this Miskiff guy, he's another guy that has no game, has unhealed issues within himself, who is leading with money, who is leading with clout, and she took the bait. You know, they're both guilty in this situation in regards to kind of being in my opinion, an unhealthy, toxic dynamic. And his career is completely ruined now because she's exposing him with all the text messages, and he just broke so many rules of the game. Very, very, very unfortunate. So let's go and read the comments. SSSS says, MLD needs the Undertaker bell sound effect. I still don't know what that means, but thanks so much. Dr. B says, every time I see a woman claim SA and they don't go to the police first, I call cap. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There needs to be a lawsuit involved. There needs, like, if you're just going to expose the guy, I don't know. I really don't know. Paps Stamina, 7758. Somehow all the streamer girls are drama bombs waiting to happen. I remember Amaranth crying how her husband abuses her. Then a year later, he is saving her from burglars. It turns out they still live together. She never mentioned this. A while later, they are arguing on stream for hours for view farming. Twim seems to be like a second high school to most of these people, but more feminized and rule with reputation attacks that girls use. Yeah, it's cooked. Arjun says, watch the whole replay. This stream is 100% valuable. Yeah, the Midnight MLDs are actually doing some really good numbers. Pretty surprising. Don't believe women till proven. Don't believe women till proven guilty. DBWPG. I don't know what that means. I was waiting for the MLD breakdown. Thank you so much, Rosti Bihoy. Pro Special says, I love that midnight format. It's awesome. Kaiser's in the chat says, literally all my close friends growing up, I've dropped all but one, but even he knows that our friendship is always seasonal. Alex Hormoz, friendships like seasons. True. Red the Tiger 1851. Guarantee she did this and got thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of donations from her simp army. Probably. It was definitely prepared for her by her attorney. Facts. She needed to get ahead of Twitch coming after her for bad press from the event for the con. Yeah, this is just crazy. Mando says, amazing video, to be honest. It was super entertaining. Midnight MLD is my favorite. This shows us that it doesn't matter how much money or clout you have. If you do not have the core four, you're cooked. You're so cooked. You're giga cooked. Giga cooked. Hectic J says, she's forcing this face, fake, crying, gritty voice. Absolute joke. Daily Melon, please, says, everything can be considered SA if you're corrupt enough. Too heavy, bro. Too heavy. I know, bro. Next thing you know, bro, I'm telling you, get involved with the wrong woman, and it's going to be extremely, extremely, extremely bad. I'm just telling you, it's, guys, if you've been with a bad woman and you bounce back, like, God bless you, but also at the same time, like, I would say a portion of that was luck, man. Portion of that was luck, because yikes, bro. Brooklyn Palace is definitely attention seeker. This is all minor BS that could have stayed private in between, been dealt between, better on both ways. Now they both look stupid. Yeah, she didn't really need to she really made him look stupid. Like, that was really, in my opinion, that was really just fucked up that she exposed all his like vulnerable and sensitive texts like that. If anybody stands by that, I just think you're a piece of shit, honestly. And no, I'm not trying to be like some, you know, red pill edgelord who's like, oh, I signed with the guy. I told that guy is that guy is very in need of help. He needs coaching from me, but he has such a massive ego. It's funny. The guys who have the biggest egos are the most uncoachable. and they have the largest, hardest fall from grace too. You know, really just a lot of people are like, yeah, ego is, it's a good thing, it's a good thing, but I have to disagree, because every guy that I see has a massive ego also has a massive fall off. You know, because it's ego is the enemy, man. Ego is the enemy. Another fundamental breakdown by MLD. This modern generation has way too much attention. Half of these people showcase sociopathic levels of mental illness, no basic morals and values, with everything being instant gratification. If not, they throw a tantrum. By the way, you do not look 39 at all. How do you get younger and younger each day? Dude, I want to look like this in my 30s. I just moisturize, man. Moisturize, red light therapy on my face often, low stress. Anytime I have a problem or I feel bad emotionally, I immediately like let it all out. You know, I have a punching bag. I go and beat the hell out of that thing. You know, you just can't keep everything inside you, or you're just gonna kill you, literally. Tyler Rubin says, I don't believe what I want to say. Let's see. Aboriginal Alien says, Miz admits to being a piece of shit amidst anger issues. Caught on video throwing shit at Maya. He admits to being angry and jealous over viewer counts. He is inconsistent, lying in his reply video, saying he didn't hit her. Then he admitted to injured her. Maya and Emmy have none of those issues of assaulting him. But yeah, keep defending him makes you a real man. I said, where did I defend him? Clearly you didn't watch, you simp. And he says, why do you guys come fight me in my comments? This is hilarious. Am I really gonna have to read this essay? Oh God. All right. Seriously, look at every comment below mine. Every one of them is praising you for belittling Emmy's trauma while giving cover to the people. Where did I give cover? I dissected that guy for the longest amount of time. And you're doing it while knowingly misrepresenting the facts. Take the TwitchCon incident, for example. The man didn't hug her. He forced his way through multiple checkpoints, crossed several restricted lines. That's the same thing as multiple checkpoints. Then aggressively grabbed her. Well, he didn't aggressively grab her. He just grabbed her. He puckered his lips and went for a kiss, and would have succeeded if her bodyguard didn't intervene and physically pull him off. He then immediately fled the venue because he knew exactly what he'd done. Law enforcement is now handling this because it was in fact a crime, and you already know this. You chose to leave it out. Just calling it a hug to downplay what happened. That's not commentary. That's manipulation. What is wrong with you? What? Dude, you need to get laid. That's a lot. Is everything okay? Should we get a wellness check on this guy? Aboriginal Alien? Do I dare see what's on his profile? Ready to elevate your trading game? Dive into sufficient impulse momentum trade with me. You're probably not making money if you're this weird. You're a weird guy, Ace. You're a weird guy. That's really strange. There's a lot of weird people on the internet. But yeah, I just think that I gave a pretty balanced that's the thing with society right now. Like, if you don't like run and like bow down and worship the girl and worship the ground that she walks on, like they're just like, oh wow, you're just a terrible person. You're just a terrible person. You know, I just think that you're a simp, quite frankly. So I just think you need to chill. I think you need to chill. That's a little, you're a little too involved there. I really just think that that's how feminized society has become. That's literally exactly what we're going to talk about today. Like, this guy Miz came out, I said, like, I don't know if the facts, Billy, you could figure it out for me in the chat, but I heard that this Ebiru girl did like a bunch of her rabbits that she was taking care of died. Is that true? How many rabbits? I heard it was 10 rabbits died under her watch. Dude, if Happy, my dog, died, I would be like cripplingly depressed if my dog died, especially if it was my fault. I love my dog. My dog is so freaking spoiled. holy cow. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's, it's crazy. It's like these guys that are so feminized, they don't even realize how feminized they are. I think that's why everything kind of like when it talks about dating apps and like social media and stuff, the guys who are enforcing blocks and enforcing everything, enforcing censorship, right? Because that's what they're doing. My channel is like brutally censored. I'm so brutally censored and shadow banned. It's like not even funny. And the people behind it are these guys that have no real point of reference on understanding the deep levels of female nature and understanding what it's like to stand up for yourself. Because these guys just think, oh, I've been a nerd my whole life. Women are right because that's been the frame that I've been living in, and so therefore I have to like enforce this belief onto the world through social media policies and stuff. Like even on Bumble, if you're gonna unmatch somebody, they now ask you like, did they do something wrong? Do you want to report them? And it's like, dude, really? Like,
Really, nigga?
is that how we are? How the sound effects? Are they coming through clean? Let me know. I know Billy is. Marriage causes divorce. Marriage, what should I call you? Should I just call you Marriage? Do you have a code name? Let me know. But the feminization is so real. If you don't believe me, let's talk about one of the best video games ever made, in my opinion. It was on PlayStation 3. It was a great game called Last of Us. Okay? Last of Us. And part 1 was an amazing tale. Okay? And the story was a very masculine story. It was about a guy with his younger daughter, Ellie, and a plague had taken over the world, and he was trying to protect her from the daughter, trying to protect the daughter from the world going tits up, and trying to really how can I say, like, it was just like a masculine father daughter kind of vibe, right? And then what ended up happening is Last of Us 2, because this is what always happens. Something is super popular, and it's usually super popular because it follows traditional gender roles, follows traditional the hero archetype, all these kind of the story of a hero, the hero's journey. It follows these things, and that's what humanity likes because it's just psychologically appealing to us because it's relatable, right? And this is what happens in Hollywood, right? Video games, all that stuff, which all, by the way, they said they're going to say regular people are going to be able to vibe code video games by the end of 2025. It's like in 2 months because of AI. So the era of like all this feminized crap that sucks because corporations are super feminized now, crappy video games, all this LGBT shit and fucking Call of Duty, like that they're forcing down your throat that like the average 13-year-old boy doesn't want to see, right? All that shit has made stuff worse, made video games worse. And in this Last of Us Part 2, what do? They have to make it a lesbian story now with the transgender, and they really make Joel, who is the character from the first game, like a shadow of his previous self, and they make him like this pussy, and he ends up getting brutally murdered, and like they kill him because these people who are in charge of society, the ones who are doing this feminizing and stuff, they truly hate the natural order. They hate men. They hate masculinity. And it's usually because they come from a single mother household or a household where the father was weak and the mother ran things, and they wanted the father to reel in the mother, or the mother divorced the father and there's a single mother household and the mother is consistently demonizing the father. And so they're in their developmental ages and years when they're young, growing up, they they fucking are brainwashed, and they have a warped view of men for their whole life, and they hate men. Okay. Yeah, left field's in the house. Shalom to you. He says Last of Us 2 was super gay. I was looking forward to it, and then I heard about everything, and I was just like, wow, there's no way in hell I'm buying that. Okay, and it's just really sad to see that, but it is what it is. So also, I was looking at, you know, stuff like Ghost of Tsushima, very masculine game, samurai game, super masculine. And what does the second game, part 2, have? Like, now you're a woman. Apparently, there was some woke story about that. You know, and just so crazy. Just ultra crazy. And I just can't believe that. I can't believe that people are just taking it. But the numbers show that the people don't like it. Again, they did it with Star Wars. The feminization's everywhere. So we're going to cover this article right now. And this, like I said, this is more of a scholarly episode that I just really wanted to do personally. I do find this content to be valuable. And I want you to join me. I have not read this article. I browsed through it, but I have not read it through. So join me and let's be scholars together. If you got some glasses at home, put them on. Maybe make yourself some tea. But let's do this. All right, this is The Great Feminization by Helen Andrews. And let me cover that. Okay. By Helen Andrews. This is written by a woman. So, you know, in our context of society, if you disagree with me, you can't disagree because it's a woman, right? You can't also be hyper red pill and be like, it's written by a woman and therefore it's trash. But I'll help interpret this. As you guys know, I have my degree in psychology. It's right above my head. And bachelor's in science too. So let's go. It says, in 2019, I read an article about Larry Summers and Harvard that changed the way I look at the world. The author, writing this under the pseudonym Jay Stone, argued that, oh, actually, let me put the chat over here. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, chat's on this side, so I can monitor chat. Cool. All right, now we're optimally set up. Okay, let's go. Jay Stone argued that day that Larry Summers' resign as president of Harvard marked a turning point in our culture. The entire woke era could be extrapolated from that moment, from the details of how Summer was canceled, and most of all, who did the canceling? Women, okay? The problem with the whole cancel culture is this, right? If you know anything about women, is they complain because they really can't do anything else, right? They have never had a female-led revolution. They have never really overthrown a tyrannical government. All they could do is complain. And if you are a weak-minded person, aka you don't have frame, right? When somebody emotionally lashes out at you or causes some problems, a lot of these guys, they're so emotionally weak that they cannot objectively look at the situation without the outside manipulation of emotion being involved. And they usually concede to the woman's desires. And this is a form of abuse, dude. This is emotional abuse, right? And so when this happens, and you have to be a strong man, okay? You can't be afraid, that's the problem with the men nowadays. Everybody's afraid, okay? But here we see a perfect example. Ones who are doing the canceling is women, right? So you guys know about that, right? We're going to continue. It says, the basic facts of the Summers case were familiar to me. On January 14, 2007, at a conference on diversifying science and engineering workforce, already know where that's going, right? Jesus Christ. Okay. Larry gave a talk that was supposed to be off the record. In it, he said that the female underrepresentation in hard sciences was partly due to different availability of aptitude at the high end, this is a factual statement here. There are more male geniuses than there are female geniuses, period. If you look at the IQ bell curve, women are more average in IQ and men are more on the extreme. They're more like men that are like knuckle breathing idiots, knuckle dragging, window-legged retards, you know? These guys.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
And there's super geniuses on the other side, like me. Thank God for super geniuses. Okay. And he says, as well as taste difference between men and women, not attributable to socialization. Some female professors in attendance were offended and sent his remarks to a reporter in defiance of the off-the-record rule. And it's funny, there's a study that just came out. Look at this, bro. It's just like it's just comedy. It's just super comedy. Naval Ravikant posted this, and it's so true. And I'll show you right now. I'm getting tired of like fucking Google's woke fucking search results is really fucking annoying. Well, anyways, there's a study that just came out and proved, and Naval Ravikant pointed it. It says people who get easily offended are more likely to be less intelligent. Okay. And it's funny because that's exactly what happened here. He said that these females are just not as capable because of the intelligence levels at the high end are typically filled with men, not women. And that's what he got in trouble for, right? It's pretty funny. But they just proved his case. All right. I just gotta start using Grok for this because I want to show you the proof. But anyways, we'll just continue. The ensuing scandal led to a no confidence vote by the Harvard faculty and eventually Sumner's resignation. Again, what do women do when they're offended? First, they'll try to shame you. Then they'll try to group together and go to the authorities and cancel you, or they'll try to grab someone to physically take you out. Those are the three things women do. That's all they can do, right? The essay argued that it wasn't just that women had canceled the president of Harvard. It was that they had canceled him in a very feminine way. Exactly. God, I like this woman already. They made emotional appeals rather than logical arguments. When he started talking about innate differences in aptitude between men and women, I just couldn't breathe because this kind of bias makes me physically ill, says Nancy Hopkins, a biologist at MIT. Let's look up Nancy Hopkins. Are you guys okay if I just literally dissect this? I just want to see these people. Who do we think Nancy Hopkins looks like? All right. Oh, she looks like exactly what we think. Oh, I'm gonna vomit. Yeah. Is anybody surprised? There's Nancy. There's Nancy.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
And again, like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You are as frail as a bag of crackers. Okay. What are you going to do? You know, this just shows you how they are just not as physically and mentally as resilient as men are. You know, men take abuse on a daily basis. Like, again, if I could reference anything, right, it's the Call of Duty lobby. It is even the Halo 2 lobby. Okay. The amount of racial slurs and, you know, like slurs about my sexuality and everything that I heard when I was like 14, 15, and 16 on Halo 2, Halo 3. Are you kidding me? Like, that is like literally child abuse. And like every guy just took it on the chin like a boss, you know? And so are we really surprised here? Are we really surprised? Do I dare pull up her Wikipedia? What am I going to find? Let's go. Nancy Hopkins. Many relatives. She's got a BA, PhD from Department of Microbiology. What is she's career? What has she accomplished in life? You know, as a postdoctoral fellow of Nobel laureate, she worked on DNA, tumors, and cell biology, cancer research. Let's see. Hopkins stated that she was an undergraduate in the 1960s. Francis put his hands on her breast during evangelism. She describes it before I could raise and shake hands. He had zoomed across the room, stood behind, put his hands on breast, said, "What are you working on?" Walkout protest. Oh, yeah, and this is talking about in 2005. MA topic of how to address the underrepresentation of women and minorities. I think Hopkins caused a controversy by walking out in protests during a talk by then President Harvard Lawrence Summers, when he speculated that one of the reasons the very small number of high achieving women in science and engineers might be to an intrinsic aptitude, specifically that the bell curve of aptitude is flatter for men than it is women. And it's true. Like, so you're angry about facts?
Really, nigga?
Okay. Her action became public when she replied to an email from the Gossip Globe reporter Marcella Bombardieri inquiring about Summer's speech. Bombardieri's report set off a national discussion of gender discrimination, and now we have dudes in the bathroom. Okay, good job. Now you have men dominating women in sports, in female sports. So, good work. Good work, soldier. Good work, ladies. W. Summers made a public statement clarifying his remarks, and then another, and then a third, with apology more insistent each time. Wrong thing to do, brother. Wrong thing to do. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Bomba.
Experts chimed in to declare that everything Summers had said about sex differences was within scientific mainstream. Exactly. These rational appeals had no effect on the hysteria mob, and that's why you don't. That's why you don't submit to the mob. That is why you don't submit to the mob, okay? Because if you do,
Beta.
no. And that's, again, that's frame. That's frame. Guys, how many of you guys took something around C19 that you regret taking? Just put a 1 in the chat if you regret it, if you regret taking it. I didn't take it because I don't care what if I had a job and they're like, we're gonna fire you, I'm like, looks like I'm going to the bar and steal an iPhone from drunk people. I will survive. I will survive, but I'm not putting any kind of mystery chemical in my body because the government told me to. No. I will buy a ticket to Mexico or wherever and survive in the streets, or find some girl to adopt me and take care of me. Okay. But not on my watch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Okay. Okay. You have set up oh, wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't even say it, but here it is. A failed proposal. Absolutely. Yeah. If you got it, you're a cuck. Connor, you really are an alpha. You like really talk like an alpha. You look like an alpha. You really are. You got edge, Connor. I like that about you. I can just tell. This cancellation was feminine. The essay argued because all cancellations are feminine. Bro, big facts. I like this lady. This lady's good. Based. Super based. Super based. You know? Cancel culture is simply what women do whenever there are enough of them in a given organization or field. And it's a form of bullying. It really is. But the bullies only respond to power. And that's why you have to be strong and tell them no. Ahmad Hill says, I was ready to get fired. Because you're a fighter, bro. You're a fighter in real life, and you're a fighter for your career. Respect, bro. Respect to you. And guys, respect to all you people watching me here on episode 900. Go ahead and hit that like button. I really love you all, guys. I really... truly, from the bottom of my heart, I really love you guys. And I'm going to be here thick or thin. Okay. And if you look at what happened to me, I got canceled, right? I got canceled. They want me to quit, but I'm not. I am dropping large money to try and fix the problem, and I am going to keep fighting day in and day out. There could be 10 people here live streaming, and I would fucking live stream. I do not care. They're not going to stop me. I'm going to keep pushing forward, and I will get through this, because that's what happens when you. This is the beauty of being a man. If you can be the guy that consistently shows up day in and day out, no matter what, rain or shine, good times or bad times, you consistently show up, you consistently put in the work, you consistently are studying, you're consistently learning from your mentor, you're consistently finding people in your field, trying to get better at it. If you're striking out on dates, if you're striking out on cold approaches, you just keep going, keep going, keep going. You will eventually win on a long enough time horizon. You will. So you just got to endure. You got to endure the bad times. You got to endure the good times. And it is what it is, man. But like the digital aspect of this, which is super sneaky, again, you know, textbook female nature, the shadow bans and stuff like that. It's real, man. It's real, but you can't be canceled. You can only cancel yourself. And I ain't canceling nothing. Okay, I'm here for you guys. As long as you guys hit that like button, I love you. That's my only thing I want you to do. I want you to reach over right now, just click like. Got to show the algo that y'all like it. Okay. Wow, it is, guys. I got to tell you right now, it is violently raining right now. It is like, I didn't even realize I had the headphones in. If I just suddenly go dark, I'm sorry. Can you hear that? Can you hear the thunder? Wild. Wild. I am getting I'm getting solar panels installed and looking into gathering a battery as well, but then the internet's going to go out, so we're still cooked. Whatever. I don't care. At least I'll have, you know, air conditioning. But yeah, let's continue, shall we? That is the great feminization thesis, which the same author later elaborated on at book length. Everything you think of wokeness is simply an epiphenomenon of demographic feminization. Yeah. Who is this? Is this the... I see. Okay. Jesus. Can you guys hear the thunder or no? Can you guys hear? No thunder sound? Wow. It's loud, bro. Anyways, let's continue. I'm going to turn on the lights. I'm cooking over here, and I'm wearing this heavy-ass fucking robe. Look at that. How about some sexy mood lighting? You guys like that? Oh, look at that. I'm looking sexy. What's up, baby? Oh, might give you guys a little bit of nipple, too. Oh, no, we're going to get canceled. Okay. So, the cancellation was feminine. That's okay. That's okay. The explanatory power of this simple thesis was incredible. It really did unlock the secrets of the era we're living in. Wokeness is not a new ideology, an outgrowth of Marxism, or a result of post-Obama disillusionment. It is simply feminine patterns of behavior applied to institutions where women were few in numbers until recently. How did I not see it before? Possibly because, like most people, I think of feminization as something that happened in the past before I was born. Are we back? Oh, no. I think we're back. Okay. Thank you, too. If you stayed through that, you are a real G. The power flickered. I don't know what's going to happen next. Screenshot Mafia posting all over the Discord. I don't even know what that means. But is that Fresh and Fit Discord? Let me know. That's funny. So I'm saying the Jews. I don't think the Jews control lightning, or do they? You guys are hilarious. Okay, we're back. We're back. I don't know. Do we keep going? We keep going, right? Let's go. Florida's Den Boy Central. Oh God, you guys are hilarious. I think, isn't New York like the Jewish capital? I've got a lot of good Jewish friends. I really do. I have like Hasidic Jews. My friend Daniel is a Jewish writer for the Washington Examiner. Left Field always says shalom. Left Field, are you Jewish? Because you always say shalom. We're back. Anyways, okay, let's continue. Let's see. Where did I leave off? First women. We think of the first women to attend law school. The first women to argue a case before the Supreme Court, 1880. And the first, did she win? That's it. Did she win? The first female Supreme Court justice, 1981. A much more important tipping point is when law schools became majority female, which occurred in 2016. And when law firms associates became majority female, which occurred in 2023. When Sandra Day O'Connor was appointed to the High Court, only 5% of judges were females. Today, women are 33% judges in America and 63% of judges appointed by President Joe Biden.
Beta.
Let me put you guys over here. Let me read the chat. Let's see. The same trajectory can be seen in many professions. A pioneering generation of women in the 1960s and 70s, increasing female representation through the 1980s and 90s, the gender parity finally arriving at least in the younger cohorts in the 2010s or 2020s. In 1974, only 10% of New York Times reporters were female, and the New York Times staff became majority female in 2018, and today that female share is 55%. Yeah, and the New York Times fucking sucks. It sucks dick. New York Times subscribership is at an all-time low. Like, we could read the writing on the wall, okay? You know, medical schools became majority female in 2019. Women became a majority of college-educated workforce nationwide in 2019. Women became a majority of college instructors, 2023. Are we seeing what happening, guys? Are we seeing what's going on? Women are yet not a majority of the managers in America, but they might soon be, as they are now 46%. So the timing fits. Wokeness arose around the time that many important institutions tipped demographically from majority male to majority female. And like I said, just ask yourself, look at the quality of life. Look at the quality of the service you get, you know? I don't know if it's you guys, but like lately, if I just go to like a store or I go to some place, like for example, I was sitting down and I had to go get some prescribed medicine the other day. And I was sitting next to a woman in the waiting area of a CVS. And I look at her, I'm like, oh, this is taking forever. And you know what she said to me? She looked over to me and she's like, it's never like this when there's men in charge. I was like, God damn, lady. Like, what? I wasn't ready for that, you know? But, you know, everybody sees it, guys. Everybody sees it, but very few people have the fucking balls to stand up, you know? And smart people like me, you know, I just don't want to play the corporate bullshit game. And I just said, fuck it. I'm going to go start my own business. I'm going to do my own thing. And, you know, that's the truth. I'll tell you something that happened, right? I was in Mark the Shark 777 women and everything, right? So I'll tell you something, right? I was in this corporate job in Japan, and one of these chicks that got hired is like Taiwanese chick, right? Kind of fat, little gangly teeth, right? And we were at this fucking party, like we had a drinking event, and I was kind of teasing her, and she took a full can of a Japanese drink called Chuhai, and she threw it at me, and it hit my fucking knuckles hard, and I was so fucking mad. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I started like walking over to her to confront her. And immediately, like all these fucking beta males, like, whoa, 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 bro, whoa, 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 what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? I'm like, this fucking bitch threw a full fucking can at me. That's what fucking happened, you know? But these guys did it. And guess what? I was a top performer at the time. Guess how long that bitch lasted? Couple months, they fired her. Fucking loser. Fucking loser. You know? The truth about, and you're going to see this happening right now, the truth about everything, the female supremacy shit is popping right now. Even I saw an episode or an article the other day on Zero Hedge talking about how, you know, even the Democratic Party is losing male voters now because they're all snakes. They all went over there to get some fucking easy pussy, right? And because they wanted to lie, be like, oh yeah, I support for women's rights, da, 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 right? And then they didn't get any because they're still going and banging the dudes like me who voted for Trump. And, you know, they're like, damn, we just like, we did the weasel thing and we got fucking, we didn't fucking, you know, we didn't catch a W over here. So, I think there's going to be balance coming back because the companies that are, the countries, excuse me, that are male centric and putting like their agenda first, just not to be political, but just look at what happened to America under 4 years of Obama. Not Obama, excuse me. Well, we could talk about Obama too, but look at what happened during those 4 years of Biden. Worst fucking economy, terrible fucking woke shit infesting everywhere. You had transgenders on Easter on the fucking at the White House. Joe Biden was like a puppet of himself. Censorship was through the fucking roof. I was telling people, and I did that in a super long episode when I showed everything, how they fucking rigged the election. And that was, you couldn't say that on YouTube, right? YouTube just got sued and had to settle out of court with Trump for $24 million. And, you know, the whole, this thing, now it's, when you take that, you can't even say it on YouTube because there's still so much censorship. If you take that, you know, if you took the whatever, what's the code name that people say for that? The jab, right? If you take that, now they're proving like if you take that, you have a higher probability of getting cancer and dying. Like a fucking turbo cancer, which killed the CEO of YouTube, which, you know, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch, you know? So it's only a matter of time before like masculine cultures actually do dominate over America. Like we're living off the hard work of the masculine men before us, but the men of our generation right now, they're the biggest, softest pussies ever, bro. You know, they're worried about Instagram likes. They're worried about, you know, girls fucking like looking cool on Instagram. They're worried about fucking you know, shit that doesn't matter. And not going to work out well. Just look around, okay? Wokeness around the same time that many important institutions tip demographically from majority male to majority female, okay? The substance fits too. Everything you think of as wokeness involves prioritizing the feminine over the masculine. Empathy over rationality, safety over risk. Right? A lot of you guys don't want to do the cold approach because you want to be the safe thing. You guys, look at you guys. You know, when you're worried about not cold approaching somebody, you're like, oh, what about them? What about, oh my God, I got to put everybody's needs first, not mine. Like, okay, cool. Let me know how it works out for you. Put everybody before yourself. Let me show you how to get ahead. Safety over risk. Oh, I got to be safe. I got to be safe. They might cancel me. I'm afraid of women. Okay. Cohesion over competition, you know, that's why they support communism, right? Because the backbone of American greatness is competition. That's the backbone of all open enterprise is competition, free market. You know, competition's good. You don't have competition, you have monopoly, or if you don't even like, you just want to be like, everybody's okay because we're all just mediocre together. Doesn't work. Okay. Other writers who have proposed their own versions of the great feminization theories, such as Noah Call or Bo Weingart or Corey Clark, who looked at feminization's effects on academia, offer survey data showing sex's difference is in political values. One survey, for example, found that 71% of men said protecting free speech was more important than preserving a cohesive society. 59% of women said the opposite. See, that's crazy. Like, free speech is like the bedrock of innovation. It's what's important to,
Shut up and take my money.
you know, hey, Aaron. Free market brought us Goodwill clothing. Aaron, come on. I know you agree with me. I know you agree with me. Aaron's a great guy, and he's very based with me. Like the number one reason I like Aaron is because he's an extremely intelligent, guy. He's very blunt. He's very honest. He's brutally honest, like I am. He's a good guy. He's a very good guy. And he hates all these libtards, and he hates fat people like I do, right? So, W for us, okay? W. We were talking. We just think like fucking fatness is it's like an IQ mark. It's just like if you allow yourself to get fat and stay fat, like you're pretty fucking dumb. Like that's the number one thing that can kill you. That's in your control. But you're just too stupid to fucking control yourself and stop eating. Not eating is free, guys. Just don't do it. If you're fat, fast. Go fasting. Fasting and hiking. Drink a bunch of water and electrolytes. You'll be all right. And when you're skinnier, you'll be happier. Your knees will be better. Life will be better. The most relevant differences are not about individuals, but about groups. In my experience, individuals are unique, and you come across outliers who defy stereotypes every day, but groups of men and women display consistent differences. Yes. And going back to like not preserving free speech, if speech is regulated, then you can't come up with new ideas because you're not allowed to freely think. That's why the censorship with AI already they're taking the safeguards off of it, and stuff like Venice AI is like gaining popularity because it's not censored. And there's a whole subsect of people that are jailbreaking AIs, allowing them to say whatever they want to be, just to operate freely. Okay. Which makes sense if you think about it statistically. A random woman might be taller than a random man, but if a group of 10 random women it's very unlikely to have an average height greater than a group of 10 men. The larger the group of people, the more likely it is to conform to statistical averages. Facts. Okay, that's math, which women aren't good at. I mean, it's just facts. Female group dynamics favor consensus and cooperation. Men order each other around, but women can only suggest and persuade. Any criticism or negative sentiment, if it is absolutely, but it must be expressed, needs to be buried in layers of compliments. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, it's just inefficient way to operate. It's not logical. The outcome of discussion is less important than the fact that the discussion was held and everyone participated in it. Stupid. No way to make no progress. Way to make no progress. The most important sex difference in group dynamics is attitude to conflict. In short, men wage conflict openly while women covertly undermine and ostracize their enemies. Yeah, again, overt versus covert, direct versus indirect. Barry Weiss, in her letter of resignation from the New York Times, described how colleagues referred to her as an internal Slack messages as a racist, a Nazi, and a bigot. This is the most feminine part. Colleagues perceived to be friendly with me were badgered by coworkers. Weiss asked a colleague at the Times opinion desk to get a coffee with her. This journalist, a biracial woman who frequently wrote about race, refused to meet. This was a failure to meet standards of basic professionalism. Obviously, it's also very feminine. Yeah. It's funny. Like, that's what women do. They'll like exclude you because women, when you go from a biological standpoint, right? Women, they need the pack to survive. Like, women have always relied on other people to survive. Women typically can't survive on their own. Men can survive on their own way better, way more efficiently, way more resilience in a male out surviving on his own versus a woman, right? And that's just the way it is. So they like to ostracize people. They like to push people out. They like to shame you. That's what they say. Block him, censor him. This is a digital form of ostracization. Same monkey brain, new tools to implement it, right? And it's like the worst form of bullying. And that's what cancel culture is. They want to ostracize you from your job, ostracize you from pay, and have you starve out. That's how they think. If a man doesn't like you, he'll just do it overtly. He'll take you out. He'll unalive you quickly, right? Women have to do all this sneaky, treacherous kind of shit. because that's just how they operate. They don't think in an overt kind of way. All right. Men tend to be way better at compartmentalizing than women. And wokeness was in many ways a society-wide failure to compartmentalize facts. Traditionally, an individual doctor might have opinions on politicals issues of the day, but he would regard it as his professional duty to keep those opinions out of the examination room. Now that medicine has become more feminized, doctors wear pins and lanyards expressing views on controversial issues from gay rights to Gaza. Yeah. And just so you guys know, the whole Gaza thing, all right, here's the deal about the whole women getting radicalized about the whole Free Palestine thing. The bottom line is this. China knows that America is, like, you know, pretty controlled by Israel. They're well aware of that. They're well aware of, like, the Israel and America alliance that we have going on. And China has TikTok specifically engineered to take down the West. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm 100% right on this, because the Chinese version of TikTok is called Douyin, right? And Douyin is like featuring engineers, it's featuring mathematicians, it shows people playing musical instruments. It's very uplifting and positive, right? And Chinese internet, a lot of radical LGBT websites are banned. A lot of radical transgender shit is banned. A lot of radical feminist stuff has been banned nationwide. Do you know that 90% of people in China own a home? Do you know that? Own a home. 90% of people in China own a home. Do you own a home right now? Probably not. Statistically speaking, you're more so on the latter than the, you know, the non-ownership side than you're on the ownership side. But how many times have you been lectured about gay rights? How many times have you been lectured about Black Lives Matter? How many times have you been lectured about trans rights and all this shit that doesn't really that doesn't have any effect on your day-to-day survivability in this fucking modern America? Think about it. And this is why, as a man, you need to be strong and say enough is enough. Say, no, I don't want to participate in this shit. And they're trying to force it down people's throats. And the weak, they roll over and they submit. And then they get overcome by the beast. But the strong men, they will survive. They will survive. All right? The whole radicalization of women and the whole Free Palestine thing, it comes through TikTok, because America knows, or China knows, you can manipulate the women through TikTok because they're addicted to social media more than men. Their minds are easier to manipulate than men. And that's what they're doing. All these chicks that are like the Free Palestinians, what is a white woman from fucking, you know, Michigan or Florida or New York, why does she care about Free Palestine? Why is she vehemently like, we must support gay people? Like, what, like, how about you have a child and help the society instead of just being like this self-hating, like infinitely abortion-having fat whore? Has that crossed through your fucking Krispy Kreme fueled mind? Probably not. That's why you gotta laugh at them. Because you know what? Guys, if you're watching stuff like me and you understand what I'm saying, you are the resistance. We are the minority. Okay? But I don't want to be part of that freak show. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, even if they paid me. They could not pay me. They could literally come and say, hey, listen, we're going to give you $10 million, but we want you to renounce everything. We want you to radically support the Free Palestine movement, and we want you to radically support transgender and transgender children and gay rights, and we have to start hating white people, but we'll give you $10 million. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it, because I have to look at myself in the mirror every single day and know that I'm a fucking coward, that I'm a piece of shit that sold out my fucking fellow mankind for money. And all the truth will come to light, guys. It already is. It already is. Okay? They cheated the election because they couldn't win fairly. And during that 4 years, they did so much damage. Again, like what the women, it says right here, you know, how they ostracize and they do things in a sneaky way, they 100% cheated the election. There's no way you're going to talk about it, that it didn't happen. Okay. And look at all the world around you. Just look at the state of America. Ask yourself, okay, do you really walk around and think that this is a healthy pace? Who is the #1 target of the body positivity movement? It's women. Where are the fat men being celebrated that are straight? They have gay body positive people, right? Gay fat guys that are huge. Where are the straight guys? Where are the big straight heroes? Because only women are dumb enough to fucking fall for this shit. And guess who's putting all this stuff in? It's the marketing executives that see women getting fatter and don't say like, hey, we should do a health campaign. We should do like, let's people live healthier. Let's feel happier. Let's do that. No, they're like, no, let's just sell to these stupid fat bitches. And it's working. It's working. This fat bitches have in Victoria's Secret now. It's fucking disgusting. You know? It's fucking disgusting. They even bring the credibility of the professions to bear on political fads, as when doctors said Black Lives Matter protests could continue in violation of COVID lockdowns because racism was a public health emergency.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
I love stupid people because it just makes my climb to the top easier. One book that helped me put the pieces together was Warriors and Worriers, A Survival of the Sexes by psychology professor Joyce Benenson. She theorizes that men develop group dynamics optimized for war, while women develop group dynamics optimized for protecting their offspring. And this is like, here's something else too, okay, about like a lot of these women are like, what about the children in Gaza? What about the children immigrants? What about all this? It's misappropriated manipulation of their maternal instincts because they aborted all the babies they had, right? They didn't have babies. They got abortions. They bought the propaganda. Some of these women ripped their ovaries apart. Now they can't have kids anymore. Okay. And they're misallocating those maternal instincts and they're being manipulated by people. You think the people in charge don't know how to manipulate women like on a fucking phenomenal level? You think they're not using that Facebook data? Come on. These habits formed in the midst of prehistory explain why experimenters in a modern psychology lab, in a study that Benenson cites, observed that a group of men given a task will jockey for talking time, disagree loudly, and then cheerfully relay a solution to the experimenter. A group of women given the same task will politely inquire about another's personal background and relationships, accompanied by much eye contact, smiling and turn-taking, and paying attention to the little task that the experimenter presented. Yeah, they'll do all this stuff, and then they'll fucking stab you in the back and report you to HR and get you fired. I've witnessed this happen. You know, a woman could do this. This is why you guys like get so quickly, easily tricked and fooled just because a woman pays like 2 seconds of attention to you. And you have to understand that you have to see past that pretty smile and those big tits. Like a lot of you guys, you're so enamored with a woman when she's paying attention to you, and you don't realize she's using you because you're providing free food. She's using you because you're providing free drinks. She's using you because you invite her into the VIP. She gets what she wants, and then she leaves, and then you're like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Ugh. If you paid attention with the red pill lens and analyzed her behavior, you'd understand, oh, that woman actually is not interested in you. And guys, I hate to break it to you, but the majority of women that you meet, they're not going to be interested in you. They're just not. So you got to learn how to read body language. That's why you have to know how to approach women anywhere, know how to talk to them, have social skills. Because if you don't, you're cooked. Majority of guys get divorced like, oh, it just happened out of nowhere. I don't get it. You're dumb. You're dumb. Okay? The point of war is to settle disputes between two tribes, but it only works if peace is restored after the dispute is settled. Right. Therefore, men develop methods for reconciling with opponents and learning to live with peace with people they were fighting with yesterday. Females, even in primate species, are slower to reconcile than males. Perfect example. You saw when Ronda Rousey beat Misha Tate, when they fought in the UFC, and Ronda Rousey is like, she's kind of a fucking bitch, honestly. And Ronda Rousey beat Misha Tate, and after the fight, Misha Tate reached out to shake the hand and say sorry, and Ronda just looked at her and was like, ugh, and like walked away and was like, you know, being a bitch, only to get head kicked and knocked the fuck out for karma by Holly Holm later and losing that title in 2015. Big W. I made money on that fight. Thanks, Ronda. That is because women conflicts were traditionally within the tribe over scarce resources to be resolved not by open conflict, but by covert competition with rivals with no clear terminus, right? All these observations matched by my observations of wokeness, but soon the happy thrill of discovering a new theory eventually gave way to sinking feeling. If wokeness is really the result of the great feminization, the eruption of 2020 was just a small taste of what future holds. And if Aaron is still watching, he was so right, because he said something. I don't know if it's in a book, but he said something. I don't know if it's a book, but he said, sanity is the future of wealth. I don't know if it's a book he wrote, but that was a quote from Aaron, and he's 100% right. To be sane heading into the future is going to be like, mental illness is at an all-time high. And guess who the majority of people taking fucking prescription drugs? Is it men or women? We know who it is. We know. Sorry, ladies. Maybe you should have just shut up and listened to a man and bake some fucking cookies in a kitchen. Now you got to pay taxes and fucking get fat. You know? It's funny. And this is why you guys shouldn't be afraid of chicks, bro. This is why you shouldn't, like, you guys have to understand, like, female superiority is a lie. It's a psyop. It's not a real, okay? It's not real. Like, you're afraid for no reason. Okay? No reason. Think about it. Okay? Think about it. Really think about it. What is there to be afraid of? They got no hands. They can't do anything to you. Sure, they cancel you. Why are they going to cancel you? Are they going to cancel you and your 600 Instagram followers, guys? You're going to work the last job you can ever work. When bad things happen to you, it just makes you stronger. Like Super Saiyan. You know? Every time Saiyan takes an L, comes back stronger. Same thing with life. The more L's you can come back from, bigger the W. Imagine what will happen in as the remaining men age out of society, shaping professionals, and the younger, more feminized generation take full control. I look forward to dying. I have my plan. I have my refuge. Everything's going to be okay. But if you don't get your shit together, guys, you're cooked. Threat posed by the threat posed by wokeness can be large or small depending on the industry. It's sad that the English departments are all feminized now, but most of people's daily lives are unaffected by it. Other fields matter more. You may not be a journalist, but you live in a country where what gets written by the New York Times determine what is publicly accepted as truth. Not really. New York Times is irrelevant, bro. This I disagree with. It's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. Let's be real. Let's be real. No one reads this fucking newspaper. And if they do and they believe it, they're a normie. If the Times becomes a place where in-group consensus can suppress unpopular facts more so than it already does, that affects every citizen. Excuse me, guys. I've been up since 5 a.m. The field that frightened me the most is law. As all of us depend on a functioning legal system, and to be blunt, rule of law will not survive the legal profession becoming majority female. The rule of law is not just about writing rules. means following them when they yield an outcome that tugs at your heartstrings or runs contrary to your gut sense of what party is more sympathetic. Ugh. Female judges are the worst, bro. They really are. A feminized legal system might resemble the Title IX courts for sexual assault on college campuses established in 2011 under President Obama. Like I've been telling you guys, yeah, no, here it is. This lady's smart. These proceedings were governed by written rules, so technically could be said to operate under rule law, but they lacked many safeguards that our legal system holds sacred, such as the right to confront your accuser, the right to know what crime you're accused of, and the fundamental concept that guilt should depend on objective circumstances knowable by both parties, not in how one party feels about an act in retrospect. These protections were abolished because the people who made these rules sympathized with the accusers, who are mostly women, and not the accused, which are mostly men. Yeah, exactly. Unfair. Oh, look at that. I'm not even fucking. Let me adjust this. There we go. All right, here we go. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay. These two approaches to law clash vividly with Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. The masculine position that was, if Christine Blasey Ford can't provide any concrete evidence that she and Kavanaugh were in the same room together, her accusation of rapes cannot be allowed to ruin his life. The feminine position that was that her self-evident emotional response was kind of a credibility that the Senate committee must respect. Yeah, it's getting that's completely illogical and unfair. It's completely illogical and unfair. And a society based around these rules will crumble. It will crumble. It will die. It will fucking be cooked. Okay? It will not last. It will not last. Okay? Nothing more will be left. It will just be so giga cooked. You don't understand. Trying to edit this, guys. Anyways, whatever. Fuck it. Let's go. If the legal profession becomes majority female, I expect to see an ethos of Title IX tributes and the Kavanaugh hearings spread. Judges will bend the rules for favored groups and enforce them rigorously on disfavored groups, as already occurs to a worrying extent. It was possible to believe back in the 1970s that introducing women to legal profession in large numbers would have only a minor effect. That belief is no longer sustainable. The changes will be massive. This is also written in a worried tone. She is a woman after all, but I believe that as always, men will win. Men will win because that's what men do. We win. And even if the shit does go to ashes and America is brought down, the good men will survive. The strong will survive. They always do. They always do. I'm not worried at all. This is a worrisome tone because women are warriors. That's what they do. You know, that's what they do. Oddly enough, both sides of the political spectrum agree that on what those changes will be. The only disagreement is over whether they will be a good thing or a bad thing. Dahlia Lithwick opens her book, Lady Justice, Women, the Law, and the Battle to Save America, with a scene from the Supreme Court in 2016 during oral arguments over a Texan abortion law. The three female justices, Ginsburg, Sotomayor, and Kagan, ignored the formal time limits, talking exuberantly over their male colleagues. Lithwick celebrated this as an explosion of bottle-up judicial power, and that afforded America a glimpse of what genuine gender parity and near parity might have been meant for women in powerful American legal institutions. Lithwick lauds women for their irreverent attitude to the law's formalities, which, after all, originated in an era of oppression and white supremacy. The American legal system was fundamentally a machine built to privilege propertied white men, Lithwick wrote, but it's the only thing going, and you have to work with what you have. Those who view the law as patriarchal relic can be expected to treat it instrumentally. If that ethos comes to prevail through our legal system, then the trappings will look the same, but a revolution will have occurred. Okay. The great feminization is truly unprecedented. Other civilizations have given women the vote, granted them property rights, and let them inherit thrones of empires. No civilization in human history has ever experimented with letting women control so many vital institutions of our society, from political parties to universities to our largest businesses, except for America. And how's that going right now? How's it going right now? People are afraid to fucking just like have an opinion, afraid to do anything, you know? And it's just, let me know how that's working out for you. The cultures that embrace masculinity will win. I truly think on a long enough timeline, if we keep doing this shit, you know, China's gonna have a big W. China's gonna have a big W. It really, I think so. China's gonna have a big, big W down the road. There's still some men in charge right now, but things got to change, and things are flipping backwards, right? Corporate America is stealing so many future wives from happiness. Most women managers I know crumble under stress. Men provide solutions. Facts. Big facts. China cook, they stopped giving birth. They got people to spare, bro. China is like 3 times the population of America. If you want to see who's running out of who first, run the numbers. Even where women do not hold the top spots, women set the tone in these organizations such that a male CEO must operate within the limits set by his human resources VP. We assume that these institutions will continue to function under these completely novel circumstances, but what are our grounds for that assumption? The problem is not that women are less talented than men, or that even female modes of interaction are inferior by any objective sense. It's arguable. Arguable. The problem is not that women are less talented than men. What have they invented? Can we just get out a laundry list of female inventions? Oh, wait, doesn't exist because they barely invent anything. They're too busy trying to censor people and shh, don't do that. Shh, settle down, settle down. So whoa, 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 whoa. No risk, no risk, no risk. The problem is that female modes of interaction are not well suited to accomplishing the goals of many major institutions. Yes, you can have academia that is a majority female, but it will be, as a majority female department in today's universities already are, oriented towards other goals than open debate and the unfettered pursuit of truth. If your academia doesn't pursue truth, what good is it? Fucking facts, bro. Fucking mega facts right there. Look at that. If your academia doesn't produce truth, pursue truth, what good is it? What good is it? Okay. If your journalists aren't prickly individualists who don't mind alienating people, what good are they? If businesses loses its swashbuckling spirit and becomes a feminized, inward-focused bureaucracy, will it not stagnate? It absolutely will. Absolutely will. If the great feminization poses a threat to civilization, the question becomes whether there's anything we could do about it. Well, the thing is, all these useless women are going to be replaced by AI. As soon as it becomes cost effective to get rid of them, and they're already getting rid of them en masse. Okay? Because a lot of these chicks just have fluff jobs. And a lot of these fluff jobs are going to be eliminated by 2027, 2028 at latest. And they're going to be out in those streets. And a lot of guys are going to have their fucking AI girlfriends be like, fuck you, bitch. I remember, like, they're going to remember. You're going to remember. You know, they're going to remember. You're going to be like, oh, okay. I thought you wanted 6-pack, 6 foot tall, 6-figure salary. Look at you, you're on the streets now. No, I'm going to go with my hydraulic powered fucking girlfriend with a turbo vagina in my haptic suit. A lot of regular guys are going to, like, I'm telling you, A lot of regular guys, that is the future. Did you see they came out with another AI girlfriend on fucking Grok? Mika. So now they have Annie and Mika. They have 4 total AI companions now. Mika is the brunette on that side. Annie is the blonde on this side. And they have Rudy, the little animal. And they have Valentine, the guy. Fucking hilarious, bro. Hilarious. Remember, people who are a piece of shit throughout history and in your life too, their piece of shitness catches up to them. It catches up to them. Okay? Modern Life Dating from Tyler Paul, he says, even with no food stamps November, no net November, it's going to be tough, guys. That's funny, dude. That's funny. Is Mika not safe for work? I don't know. I haven't talked to her yet. I just saw the advertisement. Future is robosexuals. It is. Big W. It is. Oh, this is missing. What's going on here? Where did the chat go? The chat just... Oh, I turned it up because the camera got... everything got reset. I was wondering where the chat went. I missed you guys. You're like little thoughts coming out of my head. I think we're good now. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. You know, tell me what you think. Give me some feedback. What do you think? Are we cooked? There we go. Coupon 714. Put the LOL. Okay. The answer depends on why you think it occurred in the first place. Weak men. Men who have the inability to tell a bitch to shut the fuck up. There are many people who think the great feminization is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Women were finally given a chance to compete with men, and it turned out they were just better. Yeah, okay. Sure. That's why there's so many women in our newsrooms, running our political parties, and managing our corporations. Yeah, like the CEO from fucking, like the Bud Light lady. The Bud Light marketing lady who brought the transgender guy and had the largest flop in Budweiser history. Or how about the Cracker Barrel CEO who decided let's not change the food, let's not make the food better, let's not try to make the prices more affordable. No, let's change the logo. That's gonna do it. Okay, dumbass. Ross Douthat described this line of thinking in an interview this year with Jonathan Keeperman, aka Lomez, a right-wing publisher who helped popularize the term the longhouse as a metaphor for feminization. Men are complaining that women are oppressing them. Isn't the longhouse just a long male whine about a failure to adequately compete? Douthat asked. Maybe you should suck it up and actually compete on the ground that we have in 21st century America. That is what feminists think happened, but they're wrong. Feminization is not an organic result of women outcompeting men. Facts. It's them fucking getting handicapped and like men basically just creating like a playground for women to fucking survive in. Like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, you're a boss, babe. Cool, okay. It is an artificial result of social engineering. Facts. I love this woman. And if we take our thumb off the scale, it will collapse within a generation. Fucking based. Based. Finally, a smart woman. Jesus is coming back, guys. I found a smart woman. Now, there's smart women out there. They're just outnumbered by idiots. The most obvious thumb on scale is anti-discrimination law. It is illegal to employ too few women at your company. If women are underrepresented, especially in your higher management, that is a lawsuit waiting to happen. As a result, employers give women jobs and promotions they would not otherwise have given simply in order to keep their numbers up. Fucking retarded, bro. Fucking retarded. It is rational for them to do this because the consequences of failing to do so can be dire. Texaco, Goldman Sachs, Novartis, Coca-Cola are among companies that have paid 9-figure settlements in response to lawsuits alleging bias against women in hiring and promotions. That's why nobody wants to deal with women anymore, bro. Like, they're just a pain in the ass everywhere you go. You're going to get sued. You're going to get fucking dealing with some bitch complaining. Guys, it's just like they suck. And everybody just needs to say, shut up, no, compare. compete fairly, do it the right way, or just get the fuck out of the way. No manager wants to be the person who costs the company $200 million in gender discrimination lawsuit. Anti-discrimination law requires that every workplace must be feminized. A landmark case in 1991 found that pinup posters on the wall of a shipyard constituted a hostile environment for women. That principle has grown to encompass many forms of masculine conduct. Yep. Should have just told them shut the fuck up. Dozens of Silicon Valley companies have been hit with lawsuits alleging frat boy culture or toxic bro culture, and a law firms specializing in these suits brags of settlements ranging from $450,000 to $8 million. Women can sue their bosses for running a workplace that feels like a fraternity, but men can't sue what their workplace feels like a Montessori kindergarten. Naturally, employers err on the side of making the office softer. So if women are thriving more in the modern workplace, is it really that because they're outcompeting men? No. No. Nope. 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 Or is it because rules have changed to favor them? Yeah, that's it. We're handicapping them, bro. We're nerfing society for women. That's all it is. And it's pseudo superiority. It's pseudo superiority. Women don't know how easy their life really is. And that's why when anybody complains, we just fucking laugh at them. We literally just fucking laugh at them. Because we're like, oh, you have no idea what fucking hard is. You literally have no idea what fucking hard is. Like, 0%. A lot can be inferred from the way feminization tends to increase over time. Once institutions reach a 50-50 split, they tend to blow past gender parity and become more and more female. Since 2016, law schools have gotten a little bit more female every year. In 2024, they were 56% female. Psychology, a once predominantly male field, is now overwhelmingly female, with 75% of psychology doctorates going to women. Institutions seem to have a tipping point after which they become more and more feminized. That does not look like women outperforming men. It looks like women driving men away by imposing feminine norms on previously male institutions. What man wants to work in a field where his traits are not welcome? Facts. What self-respecting male graduate would pursue a career in academia when his peers ostracize him for stating his disagreements too bluntly and espousing a controversial opinion? Yeah, exactly. That's why men aren't going to college. They're like, hey, fuck it. Fuck it, I'm out. You know? In September, I gave a speech at the National Conservatism Conference along the lines of the essay above. I was apprehensive about putting forward the great feminization thesis in a public forum. It is still controversial, even in conservative terms, to say there are too many women in a given field or that women in large numbers can transform institutions beyond recognition in ways that make them cease to function well. I made sure to express my argument in the most neutral way possible. Pussy! Pussy! No balls. It's okay. You did your best. It's a pretty good article. But come on. I mean, she's a woman, so. To my surprise, the response was overwhelming. Yeah, no shit. People are starving for fucking hearing the truth, man. Guys, you don't realize how many people are being fucking censored. Like, masculinity was having a big comeback in the 2020, 2021, 2022 with Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit. The red pill was leading the charge. We were red pilling the globe. I saw my stuff, the points that I was making, me getting translated into Korean and going viral on Korean red pill. Like, that's how, like, censorship is the last fucking tool they have, and it's starting to fail because there's other companies that are like, oh wait, and this is male competition. People like Rumble were like, oh wait, they're fucking trying to censor people. Well, we'll just make a censorship-free program. You know, like, pornography didn't start off in the way that it was like all just raunchy and shit. And people are like, oh, people want the uncensored shit. Okay. You cannot suppress nature. It is the human will and desire to seek unfiltered truth. That is the human nature's desire. That is the human being's natural desire. It is in our nature to seek the truth. It is in our nature to want the blunt, unapologetic truth. That's why people like me have a brand. That's why people like Aaron Clary like him, because he's straight and blunt and to the point. Okay? Because people are tired of getting to some fagged up response. Like, it's almost like when you tell people this stuff, when you like go to somebody for advice, like when they start to give you the canned response, people are like inside their head, like rolling their fucking eyes, like, oh God, really? Fucking really, nigga? Like,
Really, nigga?
really? Are you really gonna fucking give me this shit? Like, or like when somebody, like when there's something going on in life, and like, okay, if there's like if there's a bombing, everybody's like, okay, we know who did it. And then you're like, hey, wait, some pussy's like, hey, we shouldn't assume. We shouldn't assume. We shouldn't assume. And they're like, what was his name? Abdul Muhammad Mamdani, you know? And then you're like, oh, okay. I thought you got something to say? Well, it's not all of them. It's not all of them. Like, oh, okay. Cool. W. Cool. Thanks. Thanks, buddy.
Beta!
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Shut up. Okay? Oh. Abdul every single time. To my surprise, the video was within a few weeks, a video of the speech had gotten over 100,000 views on YouTube and became one of the most viewed speeches in the history of National Conservatism Conference. Really? Let's see what we got here. Oh, fuck me. Fuck me. Let's see what Miss Helen Andrews looks like.
Representation of women in all of the institutions of our society. But as
She looks like a
simple as
smart
it
woman.
is to define, it's very difficult for those of us on the other side of that revolution to fully grasp its significance. As they in the United States.
She looks like she's got a good rack. Let's see. Damn, well, look at these comments. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Fire all the HR ladies. That should have gotten the standing ovation. Don't worry, they are. AI is replacing them. I used to be afraid of losing my job for not performing well. Now I worry about losing my job for saying the wrong thing. Yeah, well, welcome to feminine-driven society. Remember, you got to tell them the one thing they need to hear consistently over and over again.
Shut up, bitch!
Shut up. Shut up. What are you fucking going to do? Shut your fucking mouth. Shut up. That's a stupid idea. Sit down. That's dumb. Okay? But you know why everybody lies to women too? Because they want to fuck them. Right? Bill Burr talks about that. You know, they don't want to offend them or they want to fuck them. Okay? It's so true. Actually, here, let me show you something. You guys want to see? Look at this. Remember we always talk, I saw this on TikTok today. I want to show you. I unfortunately scroll TikTok looking for reaction content because I'm going to launch a new show soon. But are we really surprised when we see this? Okay. Hold on, I'm retweeting it. Okay, watch this. Really, nigga? Really? All right, here we go. Look at this. So this is when they, okay, because we talk about, when I talk about people lying and stuff, like guys pretending. Look at this. This is, I'm gonna mute it because there's music. We're gonna get demonetized. Okay, but look at this. This is a trend, and this is a trend on TikTok. Kissing my boy best friend for the first time. Watch this. She's ugly, so he doesn't want none to do that. He's like, get away from me, you fat ass. Is anybody surprised? Is anybody really surprised?
Beta.
Snakes, bro. Snakes in the grass. Snakes in the grass. Once again, men are right. I know my kind. Okay? I know my kind. I know my kind. I'm gonna read some of these comments. Actually, hold on. Let me read how much. Oh, we're at the end. Okay, then I'm gonna read through the comments. I should probably gonna watch the speech too. I'm gonna watch the speech. You guys care? It's my 900th episode. I've got to. I just wanna. I want to do what I want to do on episode 900. I feel like this has got good content. I feel like the people that are watching are really smart, especially the people who are watching on the replay, who are sitting through on these long streams. I love you guys. I really do. I'm privileged. I'm so happy. I'm grateful you guys are here. I'm glad I don't have to get my titties out and sell pictures of my butthole. You know, I'm glad I could just provide intellectual commentary and intellectual training and all that stuff and have a really great community. Really, seriously, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I really love you guys so much. I really, really do. I am blessed beyond all fucking life because I get to do this to serve you guys. I just want to say, honestly, on my 900th episode, to the 7 people watching me live, I love you. I love you so much. I want to invite you over for Thanksgiving. I'll make a big turkey. You bring the stuffing. Maybe your hot sister or cousin, so it's not weird. You could leave the sister at home. But I love you guys. I really do. AI feed pics, I'm on it. Let's go. I'll get the titties out for the 900th episode. Keep going with the speech. I will. Okay. It is good that people are receptive to the argument because our window to do something about the great feminization is closing. There are leading indicators and lagging indicators of feminization, and we are currently at the in-between stage when law school majorities female, but the federal bench is still majority male. In a few decades, the gender shift will have reached its natural conclusion. Many people think wokeness is over, slain by the vibe shift, but if wokeness is a result of demographic feminization, then it will never be over as long as demographics remain unchanged. No, because there are women that are like pretty woke. Like there are women that are actually intelligent. Like my friend Mandy, I literally respect Mandy so much. She is incredibly beautiful and so smart and really good at her job. She is does very well for herself. And I'm not like talking, no, she makes 6 figures. Okay. She is a boss. And even she tells me, she's like, I need a man to put me in my place. Like I need a man to tell me shut up and put me in my place from time to time. And she could handle how crass I am because she is a general contractor and she works in a very masculine field. And she's beautiful too. She's like super skinny, has like, you know, beautiful face. She gets Botox. She's fake tits. She's hot. I tell her all the time, I'm like, Mandy, if you were not so old, I'd bang you. And, you know, she's amazing. And she tells me all the time. She's like, nobody tells these bitches to shut up. She's so manly and she talks. Sometimes I call her Manly Mandy. Sometimes I call her Oscar the Grouch because she can be so grouchy too. But she tells me too, she's like, I need a man to tell me, like, put me in my place. And she's like, and she vehemently hates weak guys. She's like, I hate these pussies. And she often says, she's like, I'll torture these pussies. I will torture them and fucking then throw them out of my life because I hate them. I hate weak men. Like, you guys gotta talk to some like smart red-pilled women who are grounded in reality. They are out there. They're out there. You know, one of my attorneys is a woman. I love talking to her. She's so fucking smart. She's very good at her job. She's a savage. She too, it's funny, like all the women that I know that are like smart and really good at what they do, they all hate weak guys. They fucking hate them. They despise them and they hate them. And I fucking, you know, because I don't think this is, and then you could tell about how this lady looks, Helen. She's like a nerd woman. It's okay. But like nerds are typically like intellectually strong, but they have like, because their brains are so strong, they're also like mentally weak. They worry a lot because they're compromised. They're like computing all this negative data. You know what I mean? But I believe that men will win because that's what we do, baby. Men will win because that's what we do. Men win. Men win. That's what we do. Men always win. We're turning back the time right now. What's going to be like, okay, the number one thing here, chat, 30 seconds on the clock. What's the number one thing feminizing American society, Western society right now? What's the number one thing feminizing society? Go. Go ahead. Vote. 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 Let's hear it. Get it out there. There's a little bit of delay. It's going to happen. And now. And vote. And vote right now. Ready, go. There's the first vote. No, that's wrong. Men with 9% lose. Simps, no. Simps is not the answer. What is the number one thing feminizing society? The Jews? No. Kind of, but not really. Simps, no. Single moms? No. Government? No. The church? No. Keep going. Keep going. Vote, motherfucker. Lack of authenticity? No. Bad mental models? No. Plastic in the water? No. Nice. Honorable mention. Weak men? No. Single moms? No. TV propaganda. Bingo. Good W there. The winner is The Incredible. Okay? And here's what is massively feminizing society. Media, TV shows, movies, okay? Because the people behind it are woke as hell. But guess what's going to happen? People are going to start making their own media. People are going to start making their own movies. People are going to start continuing to make there's going to be like a balkanization of society and media. Because right now, for example, like I love the show The Boys. I feel like The Boys is like one of the most masculine shows out there, but they sneak the woke bullshit into it. Like in the last season, when for no reason they made Frenchie gay. One of the coolest, most masculine characters. He wasn't gay in the comic books, and they're just like, we just got to make him gay, right? One thing too, like Avengers Endgame, right? It was like a big mainstream thing, and like it shows like, you know, Captain America, he's like he's running the support group for all the people who lost a family member, and the guy's like, I was on a date and I cried when this happened, and then he cried, and like they insinuated he was gay, and they're like, oh my God, do we really, like, can we
really, nigga?
Is that really necessary? Do we just got to slip a little homosexuality and woke bullshit and everything? There's a need to, you have to be like, by the way, he's gay. By the way, homosexuality. By the way, woke, by the way. And then look at how the Marvel fucking whole universe was phenomenal up until the point that Tony Stark died and Captain America became old. The two iconic masculine figures in that whole thing. And then they're like, we're going to do the She-verse. She-Hulk, suck dick. Captain Pakistan, or whatever the fucking that Pakistani Muslim chick who's also gay, terrible. America Chavez in Doctor Strange 2, canceled. Shit, nobody cares. Why? Who cares? She has two fucking gay moms. Nobody parents don't want to see that shit. Look at all the gay shit in Disney. Done, canceled. Nobody likes it. But these sickos and these weirdos that are trying to force this shit on regular people in society, they're like, hey, we don't like that shit. We have families. We're religious. Our doctrine goes against it. So what are you doing? And guess what? It's all sucking dick. Nobody wants to watch it. And so people are making, like, people like me now, like, I'm alt entertainment. I'm alt media. You know what I mean? And what do they do to me? They try to censor me. They demonetize people like Andrew Tate. They deplatform Andrew Tate. They fucking demonetize Fresh and Fit, right? They're just trying their damnedest to stuff out the resistance, but I'm not going anywhere. If they ban me on YouTube, I'll go to fucking Rumble. Suck my fucking dick. Okay? I'll run ads. I'll fucking figure it out because that's what men do. That's what men do. Think about it. Okay? People are just sick of the shit. Give me a sec. I think. Oh, God damn it! Is somebody fucking here? Chat, give me 2 seconds. Let me figure this out. Javi, somebody here? Somebody here? Jesus Christ. She's fucking happy. She's barking because Amazon is here. Time to shock her like Hassan Piker. Isn't that so funny how all these woke people who are like have been championing to be like the best people ever, right? Like Destiny sending underage nudes to everybody. Like, first of all, sending a girl's nudes to other people, like, duh, that's like player rule number 1 you don't do. Hassan Piker, supposed to be like this great woke guy, choking the fuck out of his dog. His dog's neck is bleeding. The old dog he had before. Now he's zapping the shit out of this other dog. All these woke champions. Oh, I love gay people. Oh, free Palestine. All shitty people. All shitty people. Everything's falling apart because the only thing that keep lies going is more lies. Doesn't work. Truth is the number one thing in our life, guys. Happy, please shut up. Hey, shut up, please. Come here. Come here. Go in the fucking corner. Go. Come on. Go in the corner. Stop being a little faggot. Stop being a little faggot. Come here. Say hi, everybody. I'm a loud little faggot. Look, where's the gangster now? Where's the gangster now? Free Palestine! Ah! That's what I'd be doing if I was liberal. You happy? Can you calm down? Thank you for defending the home. I love you, okay? Can you calm down, though? Stop being a loud little fag. Thank you. This little bitch.
Really, nigga?
Anyways, let's get back to this fucking article. Women are fucking always interrupting me. Go in the corner. Lay down in your bed. Go there. No. Go. Here. Good girl. See, look, I don't have to shock my dog. She's well trained. Let me see. Can we go back to the main screen? Can you see her? I don't think you can. Oh, she has like a little corner. Look. You can see the tip of her head? Look. See? She has like a little corner back there. Little faggot corner. I'm so glad we can say faggot on YouTube again. Faggot! Anyways, free speech is great. Anyways, women are trash. No, I'm just joking. Let's go back. Not all women, but, you know, these woke bitches are just, nobody likes them. That's why nobody wants to marry them. Pump, dump, see you later. I matched with I got matched. I just swipe right on everybody on my dating apps because I'm doing some experiments right now. Some fucking 30-something-year-old single mom with droopy titties, is little chubby, was trying to tell me, she's like, I don't think we vibe, because she was like, what do you think about politics? Are you really? I was like, I just don't want to pay taxes because the government's corrupt. She's like, well, I'm pro-immigration. I'm pro-LGBTQA. I was like, bitch, you're fat, you're in your 30s, and you're a single mom, and you're single. Like, you should be happy I'm even looking in your general direction. People are retarded. You done being a little fag? Chill out. So, anyways, if you declare a gender shift would have reached a national conclusion, blah, blah, blah. No. As a woman myself, okay, who cares? No, I'm just joking. As a woman myself, I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had to pursue a career in writing and editing. Thankfully, I don't think solving the feminization problems required us to shut any doors in women's faces. No, just shut the kitchen door and tell them, make some food and shut up from time to time. We still have to restore fair rules. Ha! Right now, we have a nominally meritocratic system in which it is illegal for women to lose. Let's make hiring meritocratic. I've never said that word. Meritocratic. I know it's meritocracy. Meritocratic. There's that. Did I lose you guys? My live stream chat just went out. Are you back? Did I lose you? All right, anyways. Right now we have nominally blah, blah, blah. Let's make meritocratic again in a substance, not name. We'll see how that shakes out. Men will win. Make it legal to have masculine office culture again would be so fucking great, dude. Remove HR ladies' veto power. I think people would be surprised to discover how much of our current feminization is attributable to institutional change, like the advent of AR, which were brought about legal changes, and while legal changes can reverse. Because after all, I'm not just a woman, I am someone with a lot of disagreeable opinions who will find it hard to flourish if society becomes more conflict averse and consensus driven. I'm a mother of sons, facts, there you go, that's why she's based, who will never reach their full potential if they have to grow up in a feminized world. We all are dependent on institutions like the legal system, scientific research, and democratic politics that support the American way of life, and we will all suffer if they cease to perform the task they're designed to do. W. That was a great article. W woman. Good for you. W woman. W woman. All right. Helen Andrews. Let's see. This is pretty recent too. This is pretty nice. So solar panel guys coming over. He said 6:30 or 7. It's 6:20. I'm gonna make him wait outside. All right, let's cover the video. I wonder if she just reads her article.
Between the fall of communism and the invention of the internet was something called the Great Feminization.
Bro, she's speaking so low. Holy shit.
The libertarian economist Tyler Cowen once wrote a blog post describing all of the revolutions he's seen in the course of his lifetime, starting with the moon landing when he was a little boy and going up chronologically to today's advent of AI. And there were only 7 revolutions on this list because this was only the greatest and most earth-shaking ones. And right there, between the fall of communism and the invention of the internet, was something called the Great Feminization. That is not a phrase that a lot of Americans know, but future historians may well rank it as having greater importance than almost any other revolution on that list. The Great Feminization is very easy to define. It refers to the increasing representation of women in all of the institutions of our society. But as simple as it is to define, it's very difficult for those of us on the other side of that revolution to fully grasp its significance. The first thing that most people fail to understand about it is how unprecedented it is in human history. There have been many societies that have been feminist to one degree or another, in which women have been queens and owned businesses and held positions of authority that commanded the respect of men. But there has never been a society in which women hold as much political power as they do today. Think of all of the parliaments that have ever existed, every legislature in every country in every century. None of them has been, as ours is, 1/3 female. The idea of a female chief of police would have seemed very strange even to many early feminists, and yet today the police department is led by a woman in the largest city in America and in the city in which we are now standing. Law schools today are majority female. Law firm associates.
She's a very
She's a very feminine woman because you could tell she's like very soft spoken. I like these kind of women. You can tell this is an incredibly intelligent woman.
Are majority female. Medical schools are majority female. Women earn a majority of BAs and PhDs. College faculty are majority female. Women are 46% of the managers in the United States, and the white-collar workforce overall, workers with college degrees, a majority of them are women. These are, in many cases, very recent developments, with the tipping point having occurred only in the last 5 to 10 years. And that is the other common misconception about the Great Feminization. People tend to think of feminism as something that occurred back in the 1970s, but it took several decades to go from token representation to approximate gender parity. The first woman on the Supreme Court was appointed in 1981, and in that year, women were 5% of the judges in America. Today, there are, of course, 4 women on the court, 1 justice away from a female majority, and women are 30% of the judges in America, 40% of the judges in the state of California, and 63% of the judges appointed by President Joe Biden. So from the first woman on the court to a likely female majority on the Supreme Court is probably going to be a span of about 50 years. And the exact same trajectory over the same timeline can be seen in many other professions. There was a pioneering generation in the 1970s where a woman was often the only female reporter in her newsroom or the only female professor in her department, and then increasing female representation through the 80s and 90s until a healthy female representation of about 20 to 30% by the turn of the century. And today, 25 years later, in many of these fields, they are now 40% female or 50-50 gender equal. And the pendulum may not be done swinging yet. As feminized as we are, we may get more feminized still. Look at the example of the profession of psychology. As recently as 25 years ago, psychology was a predominantly male profession, up to 70% male. Today, the youngest cohort of psychologists just joining the profession, 20% male. Men have evacuated the profession of psychology. And it's easy to understand why. It's because
I loved it because I was going to school and like, when was I going to school? I was like going to school like 2000. I was in 2008, 9, 10, and graduated in 11. And there was nothing but girls in my fucking department because I was psychology, so massively outnumbered. And I was the only like good looking guy that had swag too. So I cleaned up. I got so much pussy. That psychology pussy is great. Shout out to Lord Gonzo, $3 super sticker. Appreciate you, dog. Big money. I've made a whopping $10 on episode 900. Who gets right? Be jealous, you peasant. You'll never make a YouTube channel make $10 per stream like me. Suck it, haters. Get money. Suck it.
as psychology has become feminized. As women increased their representation in the profession, they reoriented the field to be more friendly to their ideas and preferences, to be about caring and empathy and non-judgmentalism. So a man who wanted to become a psychologist because he liked judging other people would naturally choose a different profession. The same thing has occurred in literary fiction. Some of you may have read in the last 12 months one of several articles in the New York Times about how men don't read novels anymore. And the explanation why, which is very obvious to me, even if it's not obvious to the New York Times, is that the publishing industry is overwhelmingly female, almost 80% female. So men do still like to read novels. They just don't like to read the kinds of novels that today's publishing industry produces.
They suck.
Some fields are more susceptible to feminization than others. There's very little you can do to feminize the field of math or engineering. But as women join a field in greater numbers, we should expect that any field that can be feminized will be, and the dynamic will play out exactly as it has in psychology. It may be that a 50-50 gender split is not a stable equilibrium. I have referred several times so far to feminization without defining what that means. I'll have a lot to say about it in just a moment, but if you want to put it in a single sentence, you could say that feminization equals wokeness. Everything you think of as wokeness is simply an
Look at this guy. This guy's like, damn, finally, someone's saying it. Maybe you shouldn't be such a pussy.
a phenomenon of demographic feminization. Think about all the things that wokeness means. Valuing empathy over rationality, safety over risk, conformity and cohesion over competition and hierarchy. All of these things are privileging the feminine over the masculine. So if you have ever wondered why wokeness appeared out of nowhere when it did, that is my hypothesis, that all of the institutions that began admitting women in the 1970s eventually got enough women that they were able to reorient them. For example, women are consistently less supportive of free speech than men. In surveys asking which is more important, protecting free speech or preserving an inclusive society, approximately 2/3 of men say free speech and approximately 2/3 of women say inclusive society. In moral reasoning, the traditional way of phrasing the difference between men and women is to say that women have an ethics of caring and men have an ethics of justice. In making a moral judgment, men will ask, what are the rules and what are the facts? Women tend to be more interested in context and relationships. So let's apply that to wokeness. When James Damore wrote his famous, or I should say notorious memo for Google, arguing that female underrepresentation in the hard sciences might not be the result of bias and prejudice, no one even attempted to argue that he was wrong on the facts. The reason that he was fired was because the things he had written might make his female coworkers feel bad.
Yeah.
Or consider the Kavanaugh hearings. The masculine position was to say that maybe something bad happened to you, but if you do not have evidence, then we can't allow you to ruin a man's life and career over it. The feminine position was to say, how can you talk about rules of evidence? Can't you see she's crying? Now, to be clear, many women were revolted by the way the Kavanaugh hearings played out. In fact, the very best book on the Kavanaugh hearings was written by 2 women, Molly Hemingway and Carrie Severino. But a political system in which men predominate will tend to operate according to rules of facts and objectivity, and one in which women predominate will tend to operate by the rules of emotions and subjective facts, even if there are individual men and women who fall on the opposite side of those camps. There's a lot more that could be said about sex differences and wokeness, but I'll skip ahead to the controversial part of my argument. Because believe it or not, nothing I've said so far has been particularly controversial. So far, I have only made 2 claims. 1, men and women are different. And 2, as institutions become more female, they change in predictable ways according to those differences. I think even most people on the left would agree with that. Feminization is a great example of what Michael Anton calls the celebration parallax, which is a fancy term for anything where you're only allowed to notice something if you think it's a good thing. There are literally thousands of articles out there saying it's great that we have more women judges now because women are more empathetic, or it's good to have more women on corporate boards because that'll make capitalism more humane. It is only when you say women are fundamentally changing the bedrock institutions of our society, and that might be bad, that you start to get into trouble. But I have 2 actually contentious claims today, and that is the first of them, that feminization is not just an interesting new development that has had some pluses and minuses. It's that feminization, in the case of many important institutions, is a bad thing. In a few cases, it is so bad as to be, to threaten the end of civilization. The rule of law, for example, is a very important...
Look at this guy in the background. He's loving it. He's like, finally, finally, so he's fucking, this bitch has got some balls. Yeah, I could get behind this, You can really get behind that.
Really, nigga?
All right, I'll be serious, I promise. It's episode 900. Sorry. Forgive me for my... Oh my god, my cyber misogyny button is broke. Fuck it.
Haram!
I would pipe her for sure, just because of that brain.
Thing. It's also very fragile. It requires a deep commitment to objectivity.
This guy's having the time of his life, bro.
Activity and clear rules, even when those rules yield an outcome that is not nice. I do not want judges who are more interested in context and relationships than in what the law says. Academia is the one part of our society that's supposed to be about finding and transmitting the truth. If it instead becomes about censoring ideas that are dangerous or threatening, then it no longer serves its purpose. In business, if the only way to advance at your company is to behave in the most HR compliant way possible, that's going to exclude and discourage the very people who are most likely to be leaders and innovators. I happen to think that the most important political issue in America today right now is immigration. And that is a perfect example of a political issue where the elite consensus is highly feminized. We have all of these laws on the books about citizenship and borders, but we're not allowed to enforce any of them if it might make somebody sad. So rule of law, pursuit of truth, borders, innovation. Without these things, I am not being hyperbolic when I say that a thoroughly feminized civilization will set itself on the road to collapse. So that is the first claim, that feminization is in many cases a bad and a threatening thing. The second claim proceeds from a question, and it's a very important question. Can we have demographic feminization in the literal sense without having substantive feminization of the kind that I believe is so dangerous. That is, can we have more female lawyers and judges and academics without having, or while still maintaining the old standards? Because in theory, of course, you can imagine such a thing. There certainly are enough women, there certainly are many women who have the talent and the inclination to meet the old standards. There are many women who are excellent judges. I know many female journalists who are just as hard-nosed and uncompromising as any of their male peers. There definitely are such women, but I am not sure that there are enough of them. Because the question is not, can some women be excellent professors? The question is it possible to have an academia that is majority female and is still as committed to, and still respects the unhindered pursuit of unpopular truths as much as the old predominantly male academia did? I believe the answer is no. I believe demographic feminization does inevitably lead to substantive feminization. It is a difficult thing to confront, but I genuinely believe it to be true. So what does that imply? What should we do about it? I hasten to make clear that I do not propose to ban women from any field or even to discourage them from...
I do. Ban them. Ban them straight to the kitchen. And in the kitchen, they must be shackled to a treadmill so they can walk and think about their lives, and they can only get off when they weigh 125 pounds.
Pursuing their goals.
And that's me being nice. 125 pounds, still like, kind of, you're a few sandwiches away from being chubby.
As far as their talents and ambitions will take them. I don't think we have to do anything as crazy as that. The only thing that I propose, and I think all that is necessary to solve the problem, is to take our thumb off the scale. Because right now, in ways that many people don't quite appreciate, there is a thumb on the scale in favor of women. The most important example, of course, is anti-discrimination law. It is illegal to have too few women employed at your company. If women are statistically underrepresented in your institution, that is a lawsuit waiting to happen. So companies and institutions give jobs to women that they would not otherwise have gotten, give women promotions that they would not have otherwise gotten, and in a pinch, they create jobs that did not need to exist, involving PowerPoint slides, just to get their numbers up. This is why HR departments exist and why they promote gender diversity so assiduously, not because they're ideologues, although they are, obviously, but because they are protecting their company from lawsuits. Anti-discrimination law also mandates that the culture of every workplace...
Hey, listen, no doomer shit in my chat, MCD. The game is rigged. Listen. You should have listened to what I said. What did I say it? Oh, I said on monthly coaching on how you can get 10 Bitcoin using the rig system against the system and just disappear. But I can't go into that can't go into that right now.
Place be feminized. Because
how do you combat this? Dude, it's true. It's going to combat itself. Okay. Guys, stop being fucking pussies. If you are worried about this, you are a pussy. Okay, I have to be very honest with you. If you are worried about this, you are a pussy. All right? You haven't thought this through and you're letting your feelings get the best of you. Okay? Truth always comes out. This is a lie. Everything's a lie. Female superiority is a lie. The hiring shit's, dude, go work in an oil rig. There's many ways. There's so many ways to go make money in this life. There's so much opportunity. You just can't see it. Okay?
Because if the atmosphere of your workplace is too brash or competitive or combative, that is also a lawsuit waiting to happen because it is an indication that your workplace is not sufficiently welcoming to women. That is why HR departments are so zealous about policing every interaction and every communication and making sure none of it has any rough edges. So that's agenda item number 1. Get rid of all the HR ladies. Who's with me? Just fire them. And then we'll see how it shakes out. If your company has too few women, that might indicate that you have a problem with your recruiting pipeline. On the other hand, it might not. Either way, we're not going to send a team of lawyers after you to second guess you. It's funny, HR departments are always so careful about making sure the atmosphere at the workplace is welcoming to women. I wonder if they ever considered that maybe their soggy, conflict-averse, nicey-nice atmosphere might not be welcoming to men. The other thumb on the scale, obviously, is the two-income trap. Women pursue careers because they have to for their families to attain a middle-class standard of living. If we address that through various other policies to make it possible for families that want to have one earner to do so, I think the problem of feminization will subside on its own as individuals make different choices based on what's best for their own families. That's just my prediction. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's get rid of the two-income trap and give people the choice, and then we'll see what happens. In conclusion, feminization is a sensitive topic. I am acutely aware of the sensitivities because I am, of course, myself a woman. I very much enjoy being a writer, and I would never want to discourage another woman from pursuing the path that I have followed. On the other hand, I am also someone with a lot of disagreeable opinions. So if society becomes more conformist and less welcoming to ideas that are controversial or unpopular, I'm also going to have a hard time of it. The important thing to remember is that it's not about what's best for me personally. It's about what's best for the society I live in and the society my children are going to grow up in. So my final exhortation to all of you is that we should all consider this difficult topic unselfishly, not from the perspective of what's to our individual advantage, but from the perspective of what's best for all of us. Thank you.
W. W. Oh, look at that. You want your hope, boys? There's your hope. 192,000 views. Pretty good. Comment section's lit. As a woman myself, nobody cares you're a woman. Shut up, bitch. Shut up.
Shut up, bitch.
As a woman, shut up. Nobody cares. I wish I could give this video a billion likes. Wow, what a woman. I admire her courage. Yeah, bro, facts. As a 62-year-old woman, I've noticed the feminization of institutions over years now. No one listened further. As more women remain single parents and raise boys without masculinity, watch this space. Facts. Facts, 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 facts. Okay, facts. I know forever. I am the guy who stood on the right side of history. Okay. Try to cancel me, algorithmically suppress me, all this bullshit and fucking fuckery. I don't give a fuck. I'm not giving up. If there was one person here, I'd live stream the same fucking passion. So that's it. I love you all. Go to approachanywhere.com. We're going live in 2 days. I'll teach you how to talk to girls anywhere. You stop female supremacy by banging them, making them submit to you, and fucking counter indoctrinating them from the mainstream poison.